Hi everyone, this is Karen. Welcome back to Solo Therapy. And today I want to talk about, does it really affect a daughter if you grow up without a father figure? And this is a very hard and also personal input, I guess, and experience. I'm not saying just because you don't have a father figure in your house, this is going to happen. But from my experience, I'm 23 years old, and by just graduating college last year, meeting different people that also don't really have a, male parental figure in their life, I see a lot of the same patterns happening, and I just kind of wanted to share my experience, see if anyone relates, see if anyone understands, and if this eases anyone's mind if you are going through the same thing or anything. So the first thing I think about when I see a young female that doesn't have a father figure is that they have the worst anxiety. The worst anxiety. And people nowadays are like, oh my gosh, you get anxiety from this, and that. But this anxiety is rooted so deep down into their brains, into their hearts, inside. It's not out external stuff that affects it. It's internal stuff that's already rooted in that it affects themselves every day with everyday tasks. For example, any physical movement things, because men are stronger physically than women. That is a biological fact. If you want to fight me on it, go ahead. But if there was a man and a woman, the man would 100% be able to, is physically stronger. Unless there's training and the woman was training to do specific athletics or sports or whatever, weightlifting. So what I see in college, when you move into an apartment or a dorm, a lot of girls with dads, they're like, hey dad, can you help me move in? I didn't have that. So instantly their reliability is on another female or another, not even another person, but themselves. So when they need to move stuff physically, whether that be literally anything, it could be at work, it could be anywhere. Girls that don't have dad get really bad anxiety of they can do it by themselves. I don't need any help. But then they get really upset when they can't do something, and then they get overwhelmed, and then they crash out. Whereas girls that have dads instantly call their dads, instantly asks for help. And they don't have the mentality of, oh, don't do it for me, I can do it by myself. They willingly ask for help. That's why they're able to communicate better with other people and just have a more stronger team relation with other people in their squad or family or whatever. That is the biggest thing I've seen. And not just moving apartments, this can be fixing cars if your car breaks down in the middle of the road. Girls without dads get insane anxiety. Once again, they don't know who to rely on. They're relying on themselves, but this has never happened to them before. They don't know what to do, and then they crash out. And then they feel this self-guilt towards this action that they're feeling. Why can't I figure it out by myself? Why can't I do this by myself? I don't have anyone to contact to. And then when they see other girls contacting their dad, they get more immense anxiety. Why don't I have that? Why can't I have that? When will I have that? This is huge because this affects their personal life as well, whether that be relationships, probably the biggest one. Looking for relationships, when they look for a guy, they don't focus on, can I rely on them? They already know that they can rely on themselves, so they don't try to find someone that can, apply stuff into their lives. Whereas I see people coming from really, really healthy families that see, when they look into their partners, that they can rely on the partner. They can they see their dad in their boyfriend or husband. Whereas girls without dads do not have the luxury of understanding, hey, I can rely on my dad for certain stuff like this, especially when, it's physically hard for a woman to do certain things. Of course, women can do so many other things that males can't do, but a lot of the daily tasks, especially living alone, leaving, moving out of your house, this is a very modern thing where females live alone and have a career for themselves. This is what, the past 50 to 70 years that women have been like leaving the household, making money on their own, and raising kids on their own. This was not a thing when my parents were growing up. It was very not common. So this is a very new anxiety that at least I'm seeing around my environment and the people that I went to school with, or that was I was surrounding myself with. And I assume that it is pretty common, obviously outside of what my environment is. Here is another feeling that I've seen when girls that are damaged by their male parent, whether that be, not coming to your school recital, not going to parent-teacher conferences, forgetting your birthday, only seeing your dad once a year, not having an actual relationship once again where you can rely on the parent of the dad of the parent. I see this not only in myself a little bit, but some people that I have met in life that also have a similar background as myself, where when they have a partner, they do not like to talk about their dad. It is embarrassing, for me at least. I don't want to talk about it because it makes me look weak, that I didn't have a figure, that I don't know what I'm talking about, that I'm trusting 100% of this guy or boyfriend, let's say, on their actions. If they're not giving me flowers, then I'm okay with that because I didn't know that was a thing. You know what I mean? I'm okay that my dad doesn't ask me if I want water or food or just taking care of my well-being. I'm okay with that because I don't know any better. Obviously, along the way, I know better now that those are some traits that I personally really appreciate, and I'm sure a lot of other girls do, but I learned it on my own. And of course, once in a while, my dad would obviously ask me if I'm hungry or whatever, but these are some things that you have to live with. You have to live with your dad for years and years and years. You cannot be a co-parent and see your daughter once in a while and expect the same outcome as a family that's been together, living together, than not. Because this is like a roommate situation even. You can have friends, but when you become roommates, you know everything about them. Every spare second you talk to them, you get to know them better. You see their routine. Are they a morning person, a night person? What do they like to eat? Are they clean? Are they dirty? Are they, should I not talk to them in the morning? Are they, do they get upset over X, Y, and Z? These are the type of things you learn from living with someone, and when you don't live with a male parental figure, it is very, very, very hard for you to understand how to even live with a male figure. So just all of these things combined, where you're not used to the situation, where you're not used to the environment, you feel like you don't know how to deal with it. Hence, you get anxiety, and then it's just a cycle of, am I doing something wrong? Am I getting taken advantage of because I don't have an example back at home? So do these guys think that they can do anything? These are some just thoughts. These are not actual things that have I've said out loud or happened. These are just actual thoughts that go through a lot of girls' minds. And if you can relate. That's great, because you are not alone, and we are growing every day as a person. And I think the number one thing I like to share today and believe as well is that you know yourself more than anyone. And if you believe that that is right in the moment, go for it. Choose that decision. But if you feel a little off, ask for help. Ask the people around you what you should do. Ask someone that's experienced, whether that be female or male, to get advice from. And don't be afraid to, hold hands with the person next to you to accomplish whatever goal you have. Because I think everyone is always willing to help each other if they ask for help. And if they're not willing to help you, then there is your flat out clear answer. And I feel like humans are very, very truthful, to say the least, because at the end of the day, even if they are not truthful, the truth always comes out. And just be an honest, transparent person that believes in yourself, because then people around you will also believe in your process. I love you all, and bye.